Hey there, friends and enemies. JoPaWrites here again, and today I wanted to go over the 5 Titan exotics I'm most excited to use in my builds once Season of the Deep drops next week in Destiny 2. And you'd be forgiven if you forgot some of these were getting buffed or changed. There's been so many adjustments announced by Bungie prior to this new seasonal launch. So there's a lot going on and a lot of reasons to be excited about. There are exotic changes, there are ability changes, there are new artifact perks. All that combines for a couple of these exotics that are really going to stand out in my opinion. Now, Eternal Warrior could be good. I think it's very ugly, so I probably won't use it anyway. However, that's one that I think a lot of people will be pointing to. But instead, my number 5 is actually Insurmountable Skull. We're getting the buff to the supers for Titans. You can use this with Thunderclap and get almost your full melee back. That is also going to be juiced up with some of the artifact perks. You can use your grenades, get amplified, nice little synergy there. I think this one is going to be very good. And don't forget, it works with the Fist of Havoc. That is getting buffed. If you use your melee while you're in Fist of Havoc, you regenerate some of that super ability. It used to be rampant where you would use this in either PvP when this was able to one-shot, or you would use it in PvE and you would essentially have an infinite Fist of Havoc. It was absolutely insane. Now, overall, I think this is one that I'm most looking forward to, but I don't know if it's going to be meta. That's the only thing, is I don't think it's going to be as strong as some of the others that I wanted to go over, but I do think it's going to be a ton of fun and probably going to be one of the first builds I make because I just like punching things. There's a reason that I am a Titan main, and there's a reason that I love Skull Fort. It's my favorite Titan exotic from early on in Destiny 2, so I'm very excited to check this out once again. We got Kepri's Horn, could be nice. There's a couple other good options. I think the Stasis ones will still be fine. But next up, I actually wanted to talk about no backup plans. The rework to this sound crazy. I have conditional finality, so I'm going to essentially have that for my shotgun builds, and it sounds like it's going to be absolutely insane. You're going to get overshields all the time. It's going to be pretty wild. So I'm just really excited to see how this works. Plus, we're getting some Void artifact perks as well next season. And I just think it's going to be tremendous. There's a lot of reasons to think this is going to be very, very good. And I think it'll be one of the builds that you'll be able to make across PvE, PvP, and Gambit that'll work everywhere. And that's one of the things that I like, is that I could just throw this on one week, especially if it's a Void Surge, and just forget about it, essentially. That's how good it's going to be. So I hope the rework is as advertised, and this one is going to be one of the first builds I make, most likely. Now, we're getting to one that, again, is getting a bit of a buff. But I have been on Second Chance for a long time. I think having a overshield on demand by throwing your melee, because you can't, if you use your shield throw, you get a void overshield, right? And so Second Chance gives you 2 shield throws. So essentially, no matter the content, you could always get an overshield on demand while also taking on barrier champions. I actually used this when I was running the newest raid early on because it was so effective. I almost never died because I was either able to drop a barricade or toss a shield and always have an overshield. Now, with this getting a buff and shield throw getting a buff, void mods that we're getting next season, I think this is going to be one of those that no matter what type of endgame content I'm taking on, this is going to be absolutely tremendous. And so I think it's been underrated for a long time, and I really hope that more people start using this one because it's a lot of fun and I really, really enjoy it. So, yeah, the Void ones, these two right here, are probably going to be my main Void builds. I know we're going to also see the rise of Curus, right? This one is obviously going to be good again. I think a lot of people are going to toss on Heart of Most Light. But for me, I mean, it's got to be hard acting War Rig, right? That's another solid one that because of the buff to Sweet Business. It doesn't make my top 5. None of these do because I've used a lot of these so often that while I will make builds with them absolutely because I think they'll be good, I'm just not as excited about them as I am Point Contact, Cannon Brace. Now, this one is tremendous because it is getting a buff to that Thunderclap, and you're going to be able to create a ton of lightning strikes. This one might not be an end game build. Like, you might swap out Curious for this or something else, depending on how it all kind of works out, depending on what type of content you're taking on. But this one is going to be so much fun. I would imagine that my top two builds for fun factor are either going to be Skull Fort or Point can Contact Can Embrace. Say that 5 times fast. But yeah, this one I'm really looking forward to. And I think it's already kind of juiced. I think it's a little underrated if you learn how to use that Thunderclap really well. And so that's why I'm so stoked to finally get hands on with this rework. The buffs, the artifact perks, all that kind of stuff. I think it's going to be very, very good. And I really look forward to using it for sure. Now we have some other options that I think are going to be interesting. I think we'll still see a lot of Peacekeepers in PvP. Like I said, Curious is still going to be good. Hoarfrost is still pretty solid for Stasis, but we don't have any artifact perks for that to really juice it up. But the number one exotic for Titans in the game right now is Abeyant Leap. I will not argue with anybody about this. I think the Strand Titan is just the best subclass in the game. Now, especially for Titans, just end game, it's absolutely tremendous. Abeyant Leap is phenomenal. It just makes it makes some of the game almost too easy because you can suspend so many things, and if they're suspended, they can't shoot back. And it seems more effective than freezing everything. You can suspend things that otherwise freezing them is just less consistent from my personal experience. Now, because we don't have any solar mods, I'm really not going to lean into any solar builds early on next season. Armamentarium with the buff to the lightning grenades could be good, same for the same reason of Hard and Most Light. But yeah, Abeyant Leap is going to be absolutely crazy. And with the new aspect for the Strand Titan as well, I think that's going to just lend itself to even more Abeyant Leap nonsense. And I'm really looking forward to using it because I think you're going to be able to essentially suspend things all the time, use the melee. Because right now I'm not really a big fan, especially in like Grandmasters or raids, of the melee for the Strand Titan. Personally, I just don't think it's super effective. I tend to whiff a lot with it. So having something that's a ranged, consistent attack one, I think is just going to be better. But yeah, so my top 5, like I said, we go Skull Fort, no backup plans, second chance. Then we got Point Contact, Can Embrace. And finally, this one is the boring pick. We do have the artifact perks for Strand again this season. Abeyant Leap is just tremendous, and you're going to see a lot of builds with it going forward, I can imagine, because it's just too good. I think this is the next one that is going to dominate the meta for the Titans for quite some time. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, helps me out tremendously. As we hit Season of the Deep, I'm going to throw up loads of content going into the new season, new builds, checking out the new Lightfall stuff, checking out everything that the new season has in store, maybe some exotic stuff as well. So I appreciate your time. My name is JoPa. I hope you have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.